Hey, I'm Weekend Gabe, and you're checking out Weekend at Gabe's, and thanks for checking out this latest episode. While you're here, also follow us on these social medias at Weekend Gabe, at Weekend at Gabe's, and also at The Real Sam Crane. Thanks for checking us out.
Joining us also from somewhere in Chicago, he is a man of so many different talents. He's the owner of Heir Porter Works. He's the sound behind the new EP Still Life. It's a pleasure to introduce Heir Porter to Weekend at Gabe. Oh wait, there we go.
Oh, we got two Heir Porters in the chat. I love to see that.
I'm like over here trying to figure this stuff out with this camera situation. Because I have my laptop going and
No worries,
You sound
man.
great.
awesome.
We got you loud and clear. No worries.
All right.
Well, thanks for giving us your time tonight here on Weekend at Games. We appreciate it. Still Life is the new EP over on Loop Theory. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, awesome.
Perfect. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Oh, you can't hear Gabe. That's interesting. Okay.
All right. Let me go ahead, Sam.
Basically, to back off of Gabe, man, it's incredible to have you here on the show. I've been following you for around about the last 5 months with what you've been doing as far as painting, as far as releasing this new EP, and I've seen a little foray into reels a little bit for you as well, which was fantastic, by the way. I love that. So let's just dive straight into it, man. You are from Chicago, but you grew up in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Raised by your grandparents, if I'm not mistaken. What was that? Yeah. What did that part of your life contribute to your work and your art as you see it now?
Well, just like me growing up around like older people, it's like, that type of stuff kind of like influences like the art, just like the stuff that I may be like interested in, even musically. Them just like playing like older, like just people like older artists around the house, being exposed to kind of like a more of a traditional type of I guess lifestyle, because they're older folks. So I think it kind of just like reflected a little bit onto like what I do.
So is that where the cable knit sweater comes from? Is that being raised by old people?
I mean, also low key, I need to do laundry, and this is like the only clean thing I got right now. So, and it's comfortable. So,
you could have worn like the dirtiest thing or the smelliest thing, and we would have had no idea. So,
Man, you still having trouble hearing Gabe?
Oh goodness, I'm locked
out. I still can't hear him.
Oh man, that is strange. Anyways, we are gonna keep this rolling. So let's talk about the music. Let's talk about the music really quick. The new EP is out, Still Life. It is on all platforms. I've heard it. I love it. I listen to it in the car, wherever I'm going. It's an instrumental album, and I say that with the utmost respect. Because
most definitely,
it's not a beat tape. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's instrumental, but it's not incomplete. And that's why I use the two words instrumental album. So talk about what you were trying to create with this 5-song EP, and how it developed for you.
Well, I guess I was just trying to like create like an introduction into like people really kind of knowing that I'm like more involved on the music side of things. Because like leading up to it, I was more so just like posting, just like videos of me just like playing keys and stuff like that. Just more like the musician side of things. And I do like a bunch of co-production or just like production for other artists in the city. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to kind of like shed more light to that. That I'm like more involved in, just making music outside of just, just playing and just assisting, with other artists and stuff like that. So that was kind of the intention, and just to kind of get people just to be like, this is what Arrington, is into, on his own side of shit, and that sort of thing, pretty much.
So to that point, where the hell did you find? I mean, I read in another interview that when you started college, you picked up piano for the first time, and the exigence behind that was sort of the, if I start now, in 4 years' time, as good as I'll be with education, I'll be at least that good in piano. But where the hell, like, there were so many other instruments that I heard on this album. Where did you find the time to learn all of that? Between doing all the painting and things that you do in general, which is fantastic. We'll get into it in a little bit.
Man, I appreciate it. Honestly, like, well, I want to say, like, probably around like 2015, I started playing guitar, so I started teaching myself that, and piano kind of helped me transfer over to like I guess what I knew from like playing that way.
Sorry, Gabe.
I don't know.
So like it helped me. Okay, I think we might be good.
We good now. We good now.
Here we go.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay,
great.
awesome.
Anyways, we were just talking about how he learned all these instruments, Gabe. He was talking about he picked up guitar in 2015. Continue.
And yeah, so like 2015, I picked up guitar, and what I learned like from like piano, it helped kind of transfer over a little bit like more seamlessly. Um, and then I kind of looked at it was just like I kind of looked at it as if it was me getting my muscle memory kind of like just transferred over to that instrument. So like I may still know chords and I know what chord progressions I want to play, but like I just have to kind of get my fingers familiarized and stuff. And it was just kind of like just doing that, just like having like a basic kind of like understanding of like music, through playing keys and just learning, okay, like just the technique to kind of like get that stuff out, through like the bass or like through like, acoustic guitar or electric guitar or whatever.
Word. Real quick before Gabe get his first question off, I want to ask specifically about the vocoder, because it's one of my favorite instruments of all time, and I find myself the first track on the record, I find myself waking up in the morning, throwing that record on, and I go through my day like that. So was that just purely piano? You were like, if I can do that, I can do this, or where did that interest come from?
It was just kind of going back to the whole like me being into old school stuff, and then I guess I saw kind of like a lane for it open, sort of like at least in the Chicago scene, because I know a lot of people are either rappers or singers, and I was just like I want to do something a little bit different, but also like I'm not trying to be like an R&B guy or something like that, or I'm not trying to be like a rapper, but I wanted something vocally that I could kind of do. And so I looked at that as a way to kind of just express that side of things. But yeah, like it was just me just kind of like messing around, like freestyling. I was just like, all right, okay, like this kind of makes sense in my head. So let's just record it down and just go from there.
I love it.
Yep.
I love it.
One of the videos or reels that you had on your Instagram, it was from last Halloween, where you were using the Halloween theme, but then you would kind of segue and transition into this like beautiful jazzy piece, but you're like using the Halloween keys from the movie.
Yeah.
Like, so like teaching yourself how to play the piano, like how is it? Do you feel like you have more of a advantage because you're really not following sort of a structure of how music is created? You yourself are designing your own interpretation of how record or music can be played.
I will say it might give me a little bit more freedom, I guess, as far as expressing like how I may, play things out. I know a lot of times people that are into like I guess lessons, the kind of like mimic whatever their teacher's kind of doing, and then they follow like this kind of structure. And a lot of times, like subconsciously, you can kind of like pick up those habits from like the people that are like kind of like helping you along the way, which is cool and all. It's not a problem and stuff like that because we're all influenced by like different things. But I kind of I used to just look at different videos and just kind of like pick up bits and pieces from different musicians that I admired, and I was just like, well, how can I apply that to myself but do it my own kind of like way? And so me playing around with like melodies as far as like the Michael Myers thing, like I had a cousin that used to play it all the time growing up and used to scare like my other smaller cousins or whatever. And I always thought it was funny, and we joke about it sometimes. And so I was just like, well, let me just kind of like see what I can do with it, and it turned into that video.
Word.
The you talk about like your cousin and Sam asked you about you being raised by your grandmother. The name it's yourself, was sort of a play off Air Jordan. But now you mentioned recently
Yeah,
that the name itself kind of has a deeper meaning and a celebration of your family. Talk a little bit about like
yeah.
how time has changed the meaning of your stage name.
Well, so like my dad's side of the family, they're like all musicians. So my dad, he was like a saxophonist. He used to play the drums, and he was like in a band and stuff, and that was like his main like occupation. And my grandfather, his dad, was a pianist, and he was like a music teacher and like just like an instructor in that sense. And so I guess like me kind of getting further into music, as I got older, because I kind of picked up on it a little bit later. Like me stating in other interviews, like saying like when I was 18 in college, I got into it. But like as I got like a little further along, I was just like, I guess it's me kind of continuing what they were kind of doing, or just kind of branching off of like, what was already there, like as far as like their history and doing music and stuff and their own like experiences. And so it kind of just like ended up being like something related to that. So I was just like air and yeah.
Word.
Got it.
And one of the more important things that falls under that title, as well as the music, which is a foray that feels pretty recent for you, but the artwork, which is prolific, incredible, detailed. The color schemes are amazing. Let's talk about that, because I saw in another interview from a few years ago that you mentioned it was one of your best selling years as far as your artwork when the pandemic happened, which sort of seems like
Yeah.
incongruous to like a lot of people who are like got fired from their job like that that week or
Yeah,
whatever it was.
yeah.
What do you attribute that to? Because obviously that's incredible. Obviously you deserve it. But how do you attribute those that uptick in sales?
It's a blessing for real, because I was worried. Like I didn't know what to expect. Everybody else was like, just like everybody else. Everybody was shocked. Everybody was just like, it's gonna last maybe a few months. Then all of a sudden we're a year in, and it's just like, oh shit, people are like getting laid off. People are, these businesses are getting shut down. People aren't getting paid as much. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, art is like it's more of a luxury type of thing. Like, it's not something that's an essential. So I was just like, people are not gonna really want to buy like artwork right now. So, but somehow it worked out, and I'm just like, I like, I could just really just thank God for it, because, honestly, it could have been like really rough. So I don't know. I guess it was just in the cards for it to work out that way. So.
Right. Right.
Well, a reason behind your you have a lot of portraits that adopt surrealism into the work. Well, what is it about that? And I know that you've mentioned that you often are inspired by music and films. How does the idea go from your thought process to the canvas? Like, take us through that.
So at first, like when I got into painting, I was more of a traditional, like figurative, like artist. Kind of like painting like still lifes, or just like trying to like stick to a realistic kind of like script
Sure.
visually. And after a while, I kind of got like, I guess, too used to it, and I was just like, man, I want to do something that's a little bit more expressive, like more exaggerating, like more like colorful. Like I'm really into like graffiti and stuff like that culture, and just people that are like really pushing the boundaries of just like stuff that, just the visual aspect of just like things. So it kind of like stemmed from that, and then I just wanted to just get more, just test the waters more with just like colors and just seeing like what I could kind of do, just expressing myself that way. But that's really the gist of it. But yeah, like I joke with my friends, and then we go on these like tangents about just like, what if this happened, and we have these theories and stuff. And I was just trying to see if like maybe I can kind of translate that into like my artwork. Like even like this painting behind me, like this giant teddy bear like walking down like a street. It was just kind of like I may like make up a scenario like that with like some people I know, or like what would you do if this and that happened, or like so I'm kind of just trying to put a picture to just like my imagination pretty much.
Were you like that as a child, where like you would get told by a teacher, stop letting your imagination run wild, or like stuff like that?
Just joking probably too much in class, like, and then those jokes may be a little like off center, I guess maybe like, or just like, wow, that's kind of like a little different, and then as I got more into art, I was just seeing like, I guess if I could, get everything just to translate over, somehow.
Right.
What has the reaction been, or how, or better yet, how does it make you feel to see the responses? Because your Instagram feed has a lot of your work, and to see those responses back, and how does that motivate you? Does it inspire you? Does it put an additional battery in your back, burn any additional fires? Like, talk a little bit about like how the feedback and the responses has been for you.
It's crazy because like I remember just like starting from the very, very beginning. Like literally, college was like the initial like kicker for like everything. Like when I was in high school, I used to hoop and stuff. And I wasn't into like art or music at the time. And like when I got to NIU is where I went. But when I got to NIU as a freshman, I knew I didn't want to like play ball or anything anymore. So I was just like, let me just try to start something new. So like really seeing everything from the very beginning, like from people like kind of supporting, kind of just like wishy-washy, kind of like, oh, I don't know if you could kind of make a career out of this, or like, and then kind of like seeing things kind of gradually, get more of a positive response over time. It's it's been like just weird but interesting, and I don't know. It's cool. It's cool. People like mess with it. So like it's tight, and I'm glad I didn't stop working on shit. So
Word. And one of the people who messed with it tough was Disney, of all people. And you were commissioned to make artwork alongside the movie Soul. Our production assistant wanted to ask about that experience, and whether or not you sort of ranked it on like a high level for you, or was that just sort of another step in climbing to where you feel like you need to be?
I mean, it was definitely like an awesome experience and stuff, and it kind of taught me like, you never really know who's paying attention, because like I just really just put out my work, and I just hope that opportunities can kind of come of it. And I
Right.
don't necessarily consider myself someone to be like super connected in that kind of way. So like it's cool just to kind of know that like the art itself, or like the music or whatever, it kind of leads me into like these opportunities, or into these situations to where like the Disney can like reach out to me, or like someone that represents, I guess, the marketing side of whatever they're trying to do, with the project that we had did, like to come out and like reach out to me and just like, give me an opportunity like that.
Word.
Was it a positive experience as far as the the work structure and what they ask you to do, and do you feel like there may be something in the future there?
Yeah, it was super smooth. Like we had a few, I guess, like different meetings like initially leading up to like the release of everything. And we got like an early screening of like the movie and stuff, and just to kind of get a better idea of like what we should kind of do as far as the illustrative side of stuff. And yeah, they were just like super cool. Like they let us really kind of have creative control over our
Nice.
projects, like each artist. So yeah, it wasn't like a super demanding, like strict kind of like situation. So it was pretty dope.
That's pretty refreshing coming from what seems like, at least from the outside, a huge company in Disney, that they kind of gave you a long leash to work there. I want
Yeah.
to I want to bring it back to the music alongside the art, because these feel like especially with the level of detail and instrumentation that you're putting into the music, this feels like a lot of creating alone, at least from an outside perspective looking in. Is that something that you're doing? Is Heir Porter's life really the four walls of the studio, or what are you doing outside of creating? Because there's a lot to do, it seems like, on your side.
Yeah. So yeah, like I produced all the tracks, I played all the instruments and stuff, and I think part of it's like I'm used to kind of like handling things on the art side of stuff, and so I guess it kind of transferred over to the music shit, and I can be a little particular with like how I like to do things, and but I'm not opposed to like collaboration and stuff. I guess just like with this project in particular, I really wanted to make sure that people knew, I guess, where I was coming from as a producer, and because I've been doing a lot of collaborative work on the producer side, just like with other people in the city. So I kind of wanted to make sure like this project was something like really reflective of like what I can kind of do, so people can kind of get a taste of just like even like the sense of my sense of style of whatever type of genre the music could have been placed in, and just kind of like where my ear was with everything, and just like my own influences.
Mm.
Well,
And
talk a little.
go
Okay.
ahead, Gabe. No, go
I
ahead.
just want
Hopefully
to.
that's the question.
Yeah, no, definitely did.
Okay.
What's the relationship like with Loop Theory? They're friends of the show. Scheme Navarro, you know him as now, and Brittany Carter. Talk a little bit about like what that music relationship is like for you in your career.
It was pretty cool. So like as of now, I'm like an independent person, but at the time we created a lot of work together. It was dope like working with like the producers on that end of things, and just like being introduced to a lot of different just people as far as who's involved, and whether they're a videographer or photographer, or like being more getting more familiarized with like studio spaces, and just really kind of getting a better understanding of just like the music scene in Chicago. And I feel like Loop Theory kind of really helped me see like that end of things outside of me just doing stuff on my own, because I really do a lot of the creative stuff solo, I guess, just for like my own personal releases. So but yeah, it kind of really helped me see outside of just myself, and you know that whole situation.
Right. Before we let you go here, we like to have a little fun on the show, ask a few fun questions. First one is not that fun at all. But would you be interested, because you do music and art at this point, would you have any interest in an NFT collection in the future?
Man, it's so crazy because like I'm trying to get into the NFT thing. I think I attempted once to post a thing for auction, but I'm so new to it that I really kind of don't know how to go about it just yet. I'm still figuring it out. Even trying to learn what an NFT was for the longest was like a process in its own. I'm just like, yo,
Gabe
people are
still
spending
hasn't gotten
like
to the bottom of
10,000.
it.
My wife tried to. She's like, "What is this?"
It's
I was like, "It's like a digital JPEG." She's like, "Isn't a JPEG digital?" I was like, "My point exactly." I guess.
yeah, I was like, I wasn't understanding the value in like this digital image at first, and I really had to just look at a bunch of videos and tutorials of just like people breaking it down and stuff. So, that was an issue in itself, and then setting up an account and all that, and understanding, what I guess the different forms of like digital like payment and stuff. Because I'm not like a person that buys Bitcoin or anything. So everything was very just like new to me, like the whole just exchange of just money, and just like how things were bought and whatever, and just the whole thing. So I'm still fresh on it all, pretty much.
Well, all right. I will take that as you are interested, and I will look out for the Heir Porter NFTs, because I'll be first in line to cop those. I saw somewhere that you take a lot of inspiration from Dragon Ball Z. I was curious, what's your favorite character? For reference, I was always Piccolo in the playground when we would play Dragon Ball.
Okay. Yeah. I would say I like Vegeta a lot. You know, growing up, everybody's a big Goku fan because he's like the person that he becomes Super Saiyan first. He's the person to reach the new level of like power and whatever. But like Vegeta, he really doesn't get his like shine. Like he really does not. And he works like super hard. He's like super just like, and he's cutthroat. I like that he's like he doesn't take no bullshit. Like he be really ready to like end like people on the show. So yeah, Goku, he's a little naive sometimes, especially in Super. I was just like, dude, like what they did to his character. I'm just like, it was just too goofy to me. But yeah.
I feel you. All right, last question before we let you go. I saw the Black Panther Obama painting that you did a long time ago. If you had a superpower, what would it be?
I was just having a conversation with one of my friends about this the other week, but I would say invisibility.
Word.
Invisibility, probably.
For a
Yeah.
dude who does visual medium, that's like that's a pretty drastic pick. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, probably invisibility. Sure.
Word.
All right. I have two quick questions, then we'll get you out of here. I promise. You have a song called Lakeshore 85. If my math is correct, you would have been -8 years old. So 85 was a great year for Chicago. We had a black mayor. We had the Super Bowl Bears. But why Lakeshore 85?
You know, I wanted to like have something just to kind of ride around to. Honestly, the whole project was kind of like intended for like someone like traveling or just kind of doing something casual. And so like that song in particular, I was just like, okay, like I don't know why I thought of Lakeshore specifically, but I was just like Lakeshore, and I'm just like, but what if like this shit was like, back in the day, so like 85, and I'm just like Lakeshore 85. All right, let's go for it. So
All right.
yeah.
All right. And then last but not least, we understand that you're a Fresh Prince fan. Have you watched the reboot, and what are your initial thoughts if you have yet?
I have not watched it yet. I plan on it. You know, I'm a little skeptical about people redoing like classics and stuff, but
Thank
I've
you.
been seeing
Thank
decent
you.
reviews.
Thank you.
Listen, I
But
love
I'm willing
it.
to give it a chance.
Word.
There's 3 episodes up. I want a full review, video review from Heir Porter about this because I need to hear your feedback because if you love it as much as I do, your opinion is valued. So I want to see that.
Yeah, I'm definitely one to voice my opinion on shows and stuff. I'm a big binge watching person, so for sure.
All right. Heir Porter, thank you so much for joining us. The new EP, Still Life, is out there. Go follow him on these socials at Heir_Porter. Trust me when I tell you it's phenomenal, everything that you're doing. We thank you so much for giving us your time tonight.
Man, I definitely appreciate y'all like for having me. Y'all are super cool. This was tight. Yeah.
All right. You can send us one of your art pieces whenever you just don't
No, I was trying to cop one this morning. They didn't have no originals. They only had posters, Gabe. I was mad.
Yeah, I mean, let me know like if you have anything, in mind. Usually I probably should get better about, I guess, putting it out there as far as like what's for sale or whatever. But usually if people like are interested in the originals, they'll like reach out to me and, inquire, specifically that way. But yeah, if you know anybody or if you're interested yourself, just let me know.
I'm gonna be in contact. For sure.
But I'm saying like if you're like, man, this huge bear is just too much for me. I can't get rid of this. Just give me a call. I'll come pick it up off you.
You'll be the first person that I'll let know.
I appreciate it. All right. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much, Heir Porter, with us here tonight on Weekend at Gabe's. Man, we appreciate this.
Most definitely. Man.
Have a good one, man.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, what a guy, and what an incredibly talented artist. Pleasure to have him on the show, and hopefully we'll have him back.
it gives me confidence that I too can learn a skill or be a musician somewhere in my life if I just dedicate 1 hour a day. 1 hour a day, and I could be great.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
you could be.
just
Yeah.
gives me confidence. Hey, I'm Weekend Gabe. Thanks for checking out this latest episode of Weekend at Gabe's. Click on any of the links swirling around my head, and also hit the subscribe button while you're here. Thanks for checking out us here on YouTube.